Are you an overwhelmed mama? Is the noise from the kids getting to you day in and day out? Do you feel like you can never catch a break or breathe? Well, stick around because I'm gonna share with you something today that will change your motherhood journey forever. I have been in these trenches for a long time now. Hello, my name is Shayla and I am a homeschool mom to 6. Having a larger family with children ranging from adult now to quite young, I remember going through a long season when they were all under 10 where it just felt like I was desperate for air. I couldn't breathe. My husband was working multiple jobs, so he was not around to help me in the evenings very often at all. I had no friends, no family to help. It was just me. Homeschooling with the kids all day long. So I know a thing or two about what it feels like to feel like you just can't catch your breath, you can't catch a break, and the noise. By the way, there is such a thing as noise pollution. You can look it up. It took me way too long to learn what I'm going to share with you today. I wish I had known about this, or another mother had kind of taken me aside and taught me about this tip, this technique when my kids were younger, because had I known it when the kids were younger, it would have made me a much more grounded and present mom. But I know it now. I've known it for around the last 10 years. And once I learned this tip, nothing was ever the same again.
Now, before I go any further, I do want to take a moment and tell you about today's sponsor because it's getting cold outside and today's sponsor is going to help keep you warm and rested.
If you have watched any of my videos at all, you know I am a huge tea drinker. I love tea. Well, you know what they say. A watched pot never boils. And I can tell you it's true because I would watch my teapot and it never would boil, so I walked away. And apparently never came back. Which is why the Bideem tea brewer is the best thing to happen to my tea addiction since, well, tea. This thing, it brews tea, it brews coffee, it keeps it warm for up to 8 hours. It lets me pick the exact temperature and strength. So that means no more oversteeped disasters, no more burnt tea kettles, just perfectly brewed tea, just the way I like it. And it is always ready when I am. It's like tea on tap, literally. I am a busy homeschooling mama. I've got deadlines, I've got laundry, I've got a house to keep up, I've got a farm. I do not have time to sit and babysit boiling water. And now I don't have to. With this miraculous little invention, all I have to do is press a button or two and walk away.
Bideem K156 tea maker electric kettle can be used for coffee, it can be used for tea. It's got a boil dry protection. Hey, they thought of people like me. It's got 2 brewing modes, an exact mode to brew coffee or tea. It's got 6 brew strength selections from bold, where you place tea or coffee in the infuser, add water to the outer pot, and directly turn the knob to choose your brew strength without the temperature settings, and just press start. It's got 4 temperature presets. You can heat water to 175 degrees, 185, 200, or 212 degrees Fahrenheit for brewing green tea, herbal tea, coffee, black tea, or simply boiling water. I like to do that. I like to keep water in it throughout the day so that I can change my mind. Because I change my mind throughout the day of what kind of tea I want. It has a 2-hour automatic keep warm function, but if you want longer warmth, you can manually keep it warm for up to 8 hours. I think something that really intrigues me is the steam extraction feature. It's a method of brewing tea that separates tea leaves or coffee from the water. In this process, steam is sprayed through circulation, resulting in a cup of tea with an enhanced flavor and purity.
I didn't even know it until I had been using this for about a month, but I think this is super cool. See this little top piece in here? It has a feature where it actually steams the tea, so the water doesn't even have to be up. You don't even have to have that much in here. The water can be all the way down here, but it's gonna send steam and sprinkles of hot water over the top to make the perfect brew, and it steams it, and so you don't get like a burnt tea taste. I think that that's just the neatest little feature. Another special thing, it comes in a variety of colors. So if you are a tea lover like I am, do your future self a favor. Check out the links in the description box below. Your taste buds? Well, thank you. Make sure that you do use the link that I have provided below for you though, because Bideem has given me a special discount to forward to my viewers, and you'll want to take advantage of that. So what is the tip? It is to create a break. It's to take a break. It's to have some rest times in your day. That's it. It's that simple. If you are working any other job, a 9-to-5 job, you would be afforded some breaks in the day. Usually they would be maybe around, like if you started the day at 8, you'd have a break around 10, maybe 10:30, and then you would have a lunch break, and then you would have an afternoon break. We don't get this. Nobody comes in and says, okay, I'm going to take over. So you have to create it yourself. Here's how.
While we chat, I am going to reorganize and clean off our tea shelf. One of my favorite simple pauses in the day is what I call my tea break. I will brew a cup of something comforting, sit on the sofa, this part's important, and just breathe for a few moments. When my kids were really little, this was much harder to do. The mess around me would stress me out deeply. Toys scattered across the floor, laundry piles waiting to be folded, crumbs underfoot. And for most of my journey, we lived in a very, very small home. By the end of it, by the time we got our addition, we were a family of 7 living in less than 1,000 square feet of space. It felt like everything was on top of everything else, and I literally started having panic attacks through it all. Now, in my case, I was also dealing with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which I had no idea. So I had some additional factors working against me, but I'm telling you this to help you understand. I get it. I really do. I know what it's like to feel extremely overwhelmed. And so when I tell you what helps, I do know what I am talking about. And of course, everybody's experience is different, but this is what helped me. I started to learn a couple things. Minimalism when we were living like that, and I started learning to take breaks. I learned that if I didn't take moments to stop and breathe, my body and heart never got a chance to reset. As our situations changed and we got bigger spaces, I still learned that this was important. So sometimes I would just lean back and look up at the ceiling because I didn't want to look at all the messes everywhere, even when we got a bigger home. There would still be messes. And so I would just look up at the ceiling for a moment and give myself permission to do nothing for a minute. Not fix, not clean, not think, just be and breathe. Now, of course, there were interruptions. Sometimes there would be a baby that would cry or a toddler would have a meltdown, and I'd have to take care of that and start my break over again and again sometimes. But I kept trying. I found that even 5 or better 10-minute breaks made such a difference, although 15 is ideal if you can swing it. Now, as a woman in midlife, I don't have babies anymore, but there's other things. I find that I get tired more quickly, for one. I'm also going through the change of life, which, not to alarm you, is a bit like someone pulled the rug right out from under you. It's funny how once you finally get one season figured out, womanhood, motherhood, homemakerhood, everything shifts again and you have to re-navigate. I have had so many seasons of re-navigating, friends, but this is the key to re-navigating more quickly, smoothly, and efficiently. It's learning to observe instead of react, and doing all of this from a place of rest. Something interesting starts to happen during breaks. So once you quiet down your thoughts, you can start to see more clearly. Clarity will start to come to you. I would just sit and observe my kids without jumping in to correct them, and I noticed things I never would have otherwise. For example, I kept finding all of these wrappers all over the house, and I assumed they must have been blowing out of the trash can when the back door would open and close because the trash was right next to the back door. Like I said, we lived in a really tiny house. But one afternoon, while taking my break, I noticed my 3-year-old open a granola bar, drop the wrapper right on the floor, and run off to play. That little observation solved a mystery that had been frustrating me for weeks, and I never would have noticed it had I not sat down to just take a break. So when we slow down long enough to breathe and observe, our homes have a way of starting to speak to us, and our kids do too, without using words. We can gain so much clarity when we're not running on fumes. A rested mom is a more effective mom. It is amazing how just a few intentional moments of rest can completely change your day and redirect it even. When you allow yourself to stop, pause, breathe, your heart rate slows, your mind clears, and you begin to notice both beauty and challenges in your home. And you can think with more clarity on how to solve the challenges. When you're a rested mom, you can become a more grateful mom and 1,000 times more effective and productive. Not because you're hustling harder and working harder, but because you're leading from a place of peace. So even if you feel stretched thin, I encourage you to carve out a few minutes today. Even if it's messy, even if you have to try 3 times, breathe, sip something, warm or cold if that's what you enjoy, and let your heart catch up with your body. Some verses to encourage you are Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Psalms 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. Isaiah 30:15. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength. Mark 6:31. Because then so many people were coming and going that day, they did not have a chance to eat. And he said to them, come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest. Rest, it's not really a luxury. It's a necessity. And it's something we need to get into the rhythm of doing. God designed us to live in cycles of work and rest, pouring out and being filled again. So next time you sit down for your tea break or coffee break, know that you are not being lazy or unproductive. You're refueling for the good work God has called you to do.